Mr. Menon. So you're a veteran in the hotel industry. Let's start with understanding your opinion about the current scenario of the hotel and the hospitality industry.
Right. Post-liberalization during Manmohan's era, the first advantage went to the hospitality industry because it was the first multinational even before the liberalization. So it was right on that path, and there was no stopping. There was a spree of expansion because hospitality is a part of the travel trade, which is $1 trillion industry, and there was a boom in the hotels. And till about 2006-07, the boom time was quite good, and the subprime issue came up in the US and it had a global effect. So typically a hotel industry has 11-year cycle, and it just got reset in 2006-07 because of the issue. And then we had a tough time, recession set in, and projects started taking a back seat. And I think it's now reviving again with the new government in place, which is very pro and very dynamic in its outlook for the industry. It's again reviving. So we had 6-7 years of slow pace of development. So now we are looking at a great buoyancy in the industry.
So you just talked about how government is playing a role. What do you think is the government doing right now in helping the tourism industry expand?
Typically, infrastructure is the number one priority for them, and I think in the second term we'll see a lot of results in the infrastructure, because infrastructure was a big issue before. Not that it was a criterion for the expansion, but it would have aided faster exponential growth. Right. But I think in the second term of the government, I think it's a huge emphasis on infrastructure, and that's right in the path of development for hospitality industry. So I think we are looking at very good days ahead for the hospitality.
Okay. So you're in the technical department. How
That's
important do you think it is for technology to, how important is it for technology to grow and for the hotels to go along the pace as the technology advances?
Well, technology is definitely a must, because this industry is capital intensive, people intensive, energy intensive, anything intensive.
Right.
So if we can save on any one of these parameters, it goes straight down the cost, it goes straight down to the bottom line. And energy cost is huge. This is like a huge, like an elephant, like you blink and crows go down the drain. Right. So you have to be very vigilant. You should do the entire operations of the hotel on a dashboard where you monitor second to second, and you can only control what you can see, and you can only control what you can see from minute to minute. Right. So you have a system which is online monitoring energy. You can't just look at an energy bill at the end of the month and then we say, okay, there's a huge cost, and we take steps and then check again after 30 days. It doesn't work like that anymore. It used to be. But now with a lot of energy management systems backed by cutting edge of technology like artificial intelligence, etc., you can monitor real time, and you can do correction. So it's like a server feeding, getting a feedback and correcting itself. Then there's a lot of technology which has developed in terms of maintenance. You can used to have breakdown maintenance, which is the low cost, but that's not the way in a 24-hour industry. So we get into the advanced technology which deals with predictive maintenance, which means even in equipment or machinery, even before it's going to pack up, you know well in advance, because the vibrations are mapped. Correct. And it is interpolated, and the signs of breakdown is picked up very early, so we do a preventive, and that will have absolutely no downtime. Okay. And that's very good. So you save a hell of a lot of cost there. So these are some of the parameters that we're looking at in technology.
So apart from this, if I am to ask you, there are times when I see a hotel in the current day and age, and the fact that they do have online presence, but they still resort to obsolete ways of promoting themselves online, and they do not have as great an online presence as much as they can have with adaptive times. So say there are portals online, but they're still resorting to textual or pictorial representations of their hotel, but they're not looking at how changing formats such as videos are coming up online. Why do you think is this scenario continuing?
Okay, this is to do with the mindset,
Right.
right? If you have progressive thinking in the hotel management system of basically the people who run the show, this would not happen. So it depends on the head of the operation.
Okay.
If he's very progressive, dynamic, vigilant, and is always on the watch out for the latest technologies and systems to adopt, this would not happen. Hotels have been there for a very long time, and sometimes what happens, it's old world thinking, and there's a lot of inertia because it's a very cost sensitive market, and anything to do with a new technology coming in, owners may think twice because of the cost.
Correct.
Which is actually very silly, because these are technologies which will save them. There are technologies which give you returns in one financial year, less than a financial year,
right,
and up to 2 years, right? So even if a 20% return is there it's very good. So it's a question of awareness and the will to really look at it and say, I want to affect the change.
Okay. So you as a fellow hotelier and a part of Signum, how are you trying to adopt such changes?
Right. See, this is just started, right? It's just taking baby steps. We're just about 8 months. We are picking up hotels almost every 20 days, and we're looking at it, and we get all sorts of hotels. So we do the due diligence. We see huge potential to bring in all the systems and leverage our experience.
Okay.
And whatever we do goes straight to the bottom line.
All right.
Even if there's investment, it's recovered within one financial year, like I said before. So we have a hell of a lot of work, because some of them are stuck in medieval thinking,
Right.
almost. So we bring them leapfrog to the present cutting edge period with the latest of technologies.
Okay.
So hell of a lot of work to be done.
So as you just talked about the fact that it is 8 months old, but you are a veteran and you've had amazing amount of experience in the hotel industry. What is it that got you to change from such coveted position that you've had before to switch on to a startup such as this?
Well, it is to do with the people.
Okay.
People make the place.
Right.
Place doesn't make the people. Software runs the hardware. Hardware doesn't run the software.
That's right.
So I like the team, and the team consisted of very, very dynamic, outlook of people, young, and with a CEO like Mehul, the energy levels are contagious.
Okay.
And I had a resonance with him, and I knew that we can go places.
Okay.
So he's part of the inspiration. If it all depends on the leader, right? Jaise Raja, Vaise Praja. A fish rots from the head, not from the tail. So how the head is, then the rest follows. It's only a matter of time. So with him, it was there's a lot of enthusiasm, and I like enthusiasm.
Okay.
Because energy is life.
Right.
Inertia is death.
That's
So this is a person who just I felt like doing, because I feel we can go places, and that's phenomenal.
So you also talked about the fact that it is due to lack of knowledge or maybe acceptance of people that the hotel industry is ailing.
Multiple issues, like I said, mindset.
Yeah.
The willingness to be curious, to be innovative, to do things, etc., is a different breed
What do
altogether.
you think is the yardstick for them to compare their growth and their level of advancement in the hotel industry, for every hotel for that matter?
Oh, there are various parameters. If I say energy, you can map the energy of infrastructure like this right to the square foot. You can say so many units of energy per square foot. Right, that is the parameter on which you can fix.
Right.
And you can look at entire Asia Pacific. You have mid-scale hotels, 2-star hotels, 5-star hotels. They fall into different verticals. It's a huge matrix.
Correct.
And this can be mapped. And we take the best practices of the best system that works and keep that as a benchmark. And everything is a standard deviation from the best. So it's easy to do a comparison.
Okay.
And as we speak, most of the hotels fail. They are in the red zone.
Yeah.
When you look at the best practices.
So if you compare hotels abroad, they are always up for the fact that there can be bloggers and vloggers who can come up and they can help them online with the online presence. But in India, I have witnessed a lot of hotels that have such resistance. Why do you think, despite the fact that it is such a competitive market and where people can have a standard such as the fact that there is a big hotel and they are adopting such practices, why is it that there are other hotels who are having such resistance still, just all apart from the mindset that they already have?
Let me put it in a different way. The hotels abroad, like in the US, etc., the revenues are very good. The occupancies are phenomenal.
Right.
The coffers are full. So to me, there's a lot of complacency. The emphasis on costs are not that much. There, the manpower cost is very, very high. It's the reverse here. It's a very cost-sensitive market. Most of the owners are, foraying into the hotels during the boom time, thinking there's return. And when the recession hit, they've all become belly up. I mean, there's a lot of NPAs that has happened. And the cost factor is a big issue with owners here because, with every penny being counted, they look at a due diligence before spending, which is old thinking. You need to understand the hotel parlance where you invest and look at the ROI, which is return on investment. Anything that, like I said before, anything that happens within one financial year, they should blindly take it from operations and sink in because, then it's profit from year 2 onwards.
Correct.
Now, this is again a mindset. So, it is the eagerness to learn, the willingness to do it, or it's inertia.
Okay.
So, but the system is changing. The new breed of people are there young, and because of the internet and global information system, they know that this thing is happening because everybody is learning. But it is very linear, and it's an arithmetic progression. It should be exponential.
That's right.
But it will get there somewhere. At least it's on the right track.
So in near future, in the coming years, do you see an outperforming market or an underperforming market in the hospitality industry?
They're outperforming. It's headed for the right direction. And we act like catalysts. And catalysts, it'll have a domino effect. You'll have more and more people seeing results, copying it, seeing results and copying it. So we are in for good times as far as hospitality is concerned in terms of technology.
Okay. So, sir, if you consider the online presence of a hotel, how important do you think and what kind of an impact do bad reviews online make in the business of a hotel?
Fantastic. Customer feedback is number one parameter to gauge. It's your report card of your performance of the hotel. And anybody who does not look at it is in the wrong segment. So customer feedback is very, very important. And there are two kinds of customers. There are certain customers who feel they have to give. I mean, they have got a clear conscience and they point out, they go the extra mile and give you feedback. That's easy. But the most dangerous situation is those customers who come, have a bad experience and don't talk about it and just disappear. That's a huge segment. Now we devise means, technology being used here to zero in on these kind of people because they will talk to their private circle by word of mouth. You can destroy your brand equity in one shot. So we need to capture those people, and those are the people to watch out where they do not talk about it and never come back to the hotel because of the bad experience. So we need to eliminate that. So we do all kinds of systems. The original system was the card we place in the room and all. That's a big effort for people. Then came in a little bit of technology, like you can, record your systems. But then it lost the personal touch. Then you have a person who, the equivalent of a GRE, guest relations, etc., checking out with the customers, by way of socializing, etc., with the customer to understand the feedback, etc., very actively. Now that's service. That's the personal touch, where the person is drawn out of his shell to tell, yes, I had a good experience or a bad experience. Because some of them, there's 30-40% of them keep quiet. Even if it's good, even if it's bad. Now we need to get that. And that feedback goes into the recording system of the hotel, where the team sits and reviews, segregates and gives capital allocation so that these jagged edges are removed and straightened out. So it's that important. It's a report card of the hotel, customer feedback.
Okay, and how do you think are other hotels trying to maintain a good reputation in terms of the online presence that they have? How do you think are they trying to cover up for the negative reviews that they have online?
See, again, it's different concepts of thinking. Covering up, well, today it's a transparent world. I don't think anybody can cover up anymore because somebody goes out and by word of mouth or writes a review, etc., it's just there. Then you look at the review of, say, about 50 reviews, you'll find 10% bad and about 90% good. So they are on their way. The idea is to have zero complaint. That's the benchmark they have to achieve at. So this becomes a huge feedback system.
Is that even possible?
Yes, of course it is possible. That's where technology comes in.
Okay.
So and there's a system which creates, captures and send back to the back of the house to analyze the whole system and correct it. So there's special teams sometimes in hotels created, the quality team as they call it. We used to have the Six Sigma black belt in terms of quality, etc. So their focus is on this, to pick up these finer aspects and turn that, so there is a absolutely zero negative feedback. If at all feedbacks are positive. And you have to be transparent. You may have 1 out of 100. You have to say, yes, I mean, it's very difficult, but we'll get there. So it's a percentile. 1%, 2% is very good.
Correct. And so considering the hotels that we have already, which hotel or which chain of hotels do you think is doing the correct job right now, which can set the bar rather high for other hotels to follow?
Well, this is a very subjective
in your opinion.
line, and I mean, if you talk about one hotel, the other hotel will wonder what it is. So this can create a little, but there are a lot of hotels doing a lot of good things, and there's a good in every chain.
Okay.
Right. So there is a huge large amount of energy being spent to better their own record and looking at other system hotels which are in the same category. So everybody is making an attempt. I leave it at that, because otherwise it will be bringing out chains and talking about them, which is, I think it's not fair.
So what importance do you think does energy management play in hotels?
Oh, big time. That's a cost. The straight savings in cost which goes to the bottom line. And energy costs are spiraling. Fuel costs, fossil fuels, as you know, getting replaced through renewable energy. It's taking time. Investments are going in. The government is going to get into huge gigawatts of solar energy, etc., feeding the grid and then bringing it back. There are certain chains who have their own captive renewable energy, right? So if it is 10 rupees a unit, they get it generated, feed the grid, and get wheeling the entire process right up to their hotel. They get a huge benefit of 8 rupees savings, so they pay 2 rupees a unit. I mean, that's huge. I mean, it's coming free. They had invested for it, and they get their ROI within 20% a year. Within 5 years, the entire cost is covered.
Okay.
So it's enough for one leader of the pack to do it, and others will follow. So there are shepherds forming, the sheep will follow. It becomes a system. Now, green energy, right? It's a huge movement which is taking place. Environment. And under environment comes energy, then waste, etc., etc. Right. They all contribute to energy, directly or indirectly. So there's a great awakening that's happening. And the pollution levels, etc., is only being a catalyst forcing the system to move in the right direction, which is good. That's nature's way of getting back to tell you to wake up.
So far from the experience that you have had, what makes for the cost of building a hotel in India?
Well, costs have escalated again, and it depends on what kind of brands, is it a mid-scale, is it a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star? Then there's luxury segments. It can vary right from, say, mid-scale, you can talk about 40 lakhs a key and go up to 3 crores a key. So you can like night and day, the range is huge. The 40 lakhs a key for the mid-scale to 3-star, I'm talking about good quality ones, to the luxury ones, which will be around 3 crores a key.
Okay.
This is minus the land cost, because the land cost is variable. That in different locations, the costs are different. So we call a project by a rating by keys minus the land cost.
So while we talked about the cost of building a hotel, what's another aspect in the hotel industry is also the fact that there is a lot of availability in the current day and age. So ranging from the fact that there are already luxury brands, there also come Airbnbs, there are OYO rooms, there are certain aspects for the smaller businessmen or maybe the generic crowd. So how do you think is the competition going on right now?
See, what's happening is there's a lot of newcomers using technology as in the hotel segment, like they are aggregators, right? They are not hoteliers.
Yeah.
They are just aggregators, like the cab aggregators, and they are looking at revenues. I feel. I mean, this is my experience. So somewhere along the line, personalization is gone. Customer satisfaction can get a hit from. I mean, this is what I see from the feedback of some of them, because the emphasis is on revenue.
Okay.
At the cost of personal touch and hospitality taking a back seat. That's a dangerous thing, because right or wrong, the customer is always right.
Yeah.
Right? You work backwards. you have to have a satisfied customer. Now, if you look at a revenue being rotated 3 times, 4 times, because revenue is the emphasis, then we have a problem. So it falls between two stools, and I think correction will come in, because it's not the revenue. If you chase revenue, personalization will take a backseat.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you look at good hospitality personalization, then revenue will chase you. So the newcomers into the game, I think they have to learn this, and they will learn it fast. It's happening.
And how do you plan to bridge the gap at your own end as a hotelier?
Well, we only concentrate on our startups. What we see, there's a lack is good for us, because we will give everything that we've learned for the last 3 decades. I mean, most of us on the board have at least 30 to 40 years of experience. I mean, quarter of a century, almost half a century. So there's nothing new that we do not know. But one thing is common. The common denominator is the customer experience is paramount. You work backwards from there. Now that is a missing link in most of the present day new startups and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because emphasis on revenue. I think that's not the way to move.
So, being a part of Signum, what are your, how do you target? Do you plan to become a luxury brand that you're trying to create, or do you aim to target the generic?
Right now, all of us come from, luxury side. We've seen the high end also, and where the quality is the highest, right? And we can afford it. So we are trying to concentrate on mid-scale right now. Okay. So we are looking at adding 40 rooms within a year's time, and give excellent quality of customer experience that this part of Asia has not seen. I mean, that's how ambitious we are. So we'll give it all we can and ensure that the first choice in mid-scale would be our brand.
Okay.
And we are moving by leaps and bounds. And the team that we have is a formidable demolition weapon. When we go and talk to an owner, we bag it within exactly 10 minutes. We just tell them who we are and what we can do.
Of course, with the kind of experience.
Absolutely, because we have no competition in South Asia. We got the best cream on the system, and we are all doing it out of passion. The money is secondary. So we want to prove a point that we start with mid-scale. Mid-scale is good. The costs are low. The experience is as good as a luxury. If you can give a luxury experience at a very low cost, it's more than value for money. Right. I mean, the guest goes gaga from the place. And this is it's unheard of in this part of the world. So this is what we are planning to do. And we're very excited about it.
How do you see the tourism industry expanding in India?
Good, very good. See, once infrastructure is there, and of course we are as old as civilization, as far as if you look at the history of India, and the tourism is a great revenue generator for this part, where we have actually not tapped. And if that is unleashed along with infrastructure, they go hand in hand. I think it's phenomenal. I mean, you're looking at huge employment for people, quality people, and great experience for the customers. We have repeat customers. That's an index of people endorsing our brand. Okay. So we will monitor that as well using technology again.
Tourism is not the prime sector, such as there are countries such as Dubai that they run on the tourism sector. But so what is it that the tourism industry is ailing at in the current scenario, in the current day and age?
Right now, like I said, it's to do with infrastructure. To reach a particular place, you have to think twice. Yeah. We are a very diverse nation. We've got multiple languages, multiple cultures, and the keynote of Indian history is unity in diversity, as we say. That itself is very fascinating. So there are a lot of people really want to come and see and experience one of the most ancient civilization which is here. And there's no shortage of people trying to come here, but what stops them is the infrastructure. There are certain places you can't reach because the proper connectivity is not, the roads are not good, etc. So that, if being taken out, and if that issue is addressed, I think we will grow exponentially. And tourism is going to be huge.
What are some of the untapped, untouched places in India that maybe you are trying to explore?
One is the area like Leh, Ladakh.
Okay.
You have to go through either by flight, etc. Then you have got all these hilly terrains in those places. We have the Golden Triangle Agra, Delhi, Jaipur, etc. We can look at desert tourism. Then we've got the islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The connectivity today, nobody is, the attention is not reached there because the priority is somewhere else naturally. So the moment it seeps up to those places, these are phenomenal destinations.
Okay.
We have every part of the globe in some part of India.
Right.
Actually. So it's a one-stop shop for everyone. We've got everything for everyone, something or the other.
Correct.
So that's the kind of outlook. So that's huge.
How do you plan to use technology in improvising certain aspects such as this, which a layman customer would trying to do? Maybe, for example, in terms of how booking of a room.
See, today booking of a room is very easy. I mean, the moment a hotel appears online, it's accessible to from every corner of the world.
Right.
The booking experience is also monitored because, as you see in other service, banking sector, etc., everything is recorded, right? And there are training skill sets in certain verticals which focuses on any slip-ups. So everything is being recorded. That is reviewed and polished to a high degree such that it's customer friendly. So if I can get the best of rates in the best of locations in 5 minutes flat, it talks about the best technology.
Yeah.
But if I have to keep on and asking questions, not coming in, it's to do with people, it's to do with technology. If I can address these two, that I close a deal or book a room to my satisfaction in 5 minutes, it speaks volumes on the technology, talk on the process and the training for the people behind the technology as well in one shot.
So, as a part of the industry, how do you see the negative growth of portals that are established, such as TripAdvisor or Expedia? How do you see the negative growth? What opinions do you have on this?
I think there is competition among these companies, and that brings the best out of it. So we, as a person who's their customer, we have a choice of which one we can choose. So everyone puts their best foot forward. So this is in a nutshell. More elaborate view into this could be given by Mehul.
Okay. So, having a veteran in front of me of the hotel industry and having you speak such words of wisdom about the same, I feel really honored, and thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you, Dipali.